Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where we focus on hiking, fishing, and making music. Well, in today's video, we're going to focus on the fishing part. We're going to dye pom-pom eggs, custom colors to match the eggs that you might find in the waters that you fish. You know that eggs are an important part of a trout's diet, and I fish them almost year-round. Tying yarn eggs, spinning that yarn or foam yarn around a hook and then trimming it so it's a nice circle, nice ball, is sometimes difficult, and they don't always look perfect, and they're often not the same shape, same size. But in this case, I can buy 4 to 6 millimeter pom-pom yarn egg, not yarn egg, synthetic egg on Amazon and custom dye them. I just thread them on a hook, secure them with a little bit of thread, and off I go. I can often tie 2, 3, 4 a minute and get right on the water that way. I've provided links in the description below on where I've found these. If you purchase them, I do receive a small commission. It's not going to be much because this is probably 20 bucks or less for 2,000 units. So, but it helps the channel. And if you want to like, subscribe, do whatever you want, that's fine by me. That's not what drives this channel. Let me go through what you're going to need to dye synthetic pom-pom eggs, custom colors that you may want to formulate. First, a stainless steel pan. I got this at a thrift store for like $4. I recommend you do the same so you don't ruin your home cooking pans. You'll need a stainless steel stirring spoon, a 1 cup measuring device, some RIT Dye More Synthetic. So you'll want the Dye More Synthetic version so that it will dye the synthetic materials found in the eggs. And by the way, you can also dye white or light colored ultra chenille to make custom dyed San Juan worms the colors that you need as well. You'll also need some paper towels, some clear dishwashing liquid soap. We'll only use a couple drops of that. And as you can see, I've applied some plastic film to the top of my countertop, just in the event that I drip some dye on the countertop as I'm working. It won't penetrate the countertop and stain it. Here you can see that I've prepared some sheets to help me gauge the number of drops of dye in the water solution to achieve a certain color that I'm looking for. Here, with a foam yarn color called Apricot, I've kind of dialed in what my color formula should be to get close to that apricot color. I've done the same thing for a foam yarn called Cream Delight, which I've found to be effective here in the western waters. I've also found that McCheese, the color McCheese, works well, and I've formulated a dye bath that helps me get McCheese colors. And on those same lines, then, I also look at pale yellow as another egg color that I like to fish frequently. Tangerine happens to be a good San Juan worm color that I like to fish, and I thought I'd dye up some of that San Juan worm material and some eggs at the same time. We'll give that a go. Another popular color I like to use is egg yolk, and here I've dialed in a nice dye bath for egg yolk color for both San Juan worms and for the pom-pom eggs. And finally, butterscotch. I like fishing butterscotch colored eggs. This happens to be a plastic egg that I fish as a pegged egg, and you can see that I've formulated a dye bath to mimic that color rather closely. All right, to get started, I'm going to work with the apricot color today. And this is the apricot color McFlyFoam that you typically buy in the stores. Now, one thing is when you test your colors, take them outside and look at them in daylight, not under fluorescent or incandescent lights, because you'll get a kind of a false reading. It'll look close to you under normal household light, but when you go out in daylight, you'll get a very different reading. So I've added 4 cups of water and the appropriate amount of orange and yellow RIT dye to make my apricot dye bath. And that's what I did here. And it's up to temperature now. So what I'm going to do is put these eggs in the dye bath, and I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I stir occasionally throughout that 10 minutes. I almost forgot that I put it in a couple drops of clear dishwashing soap. And I stir that around too. That helps the dye stick to the synthetics. It's really a surfactant. Well, the timer just went off at 10 minutes, and at 5 minutes I put in some ultra chenille, and as you can see, it turns out a little darker. That's what I wanted, actually, to get kind of an off-color earthworm color using this apricot dye bath. But something to note here as I take these out of the dye bath is that not all materials will dye the same. So for example, these craft store pom-poms, this one happens to be a 4mm, and there's some 6mm there. Those actually might be 5mm. They dye very differently. They dye darker, faster. So they're made of a different synthetic material. I can't tell you what it is. Different than the 2,000 quantity pom-poms that I can get online. So you'll have to experiment with the time that these pom-pom eggs sit in the dye bath and kind of the ratio of colors you use to mix. And I'm just going to pat them all dry, get the egg or the worm material out of there first, but I'm just going to pat it dry. And you can see it left some dye on the paper towel, and I'll do the same thing for the chenille, and that'll make a nice San Juan worm color. I just do about 12-inch segments at a time, and I just dye up what I need. The other thing I do is when I'm done with the color batch and the color I like, I actually save them in small jars. So you can see I've got different colors here that I'll share with you. There's Orange Delight, there's Egg Yolk, and Butterscotch. It's kind of one and the same. So that way I don't have to pre-mix and test every time. I've got my color already mixed and I know exactly what the results are going to be. And I'll save this one as well in my excess jars that I have. So let's go compare these eggs to the original target and see how close we came. So as you can see, these loose eggs that are dyed are spot on with the target color that I'm trying to achieve. Let's go take them to the tying bench, and I'll show you how I tie them on an egg hook and get it ready for fishing. Okay, so now we're at the tying vise. You can see I've got my chenille that I dyed up and my apricot colored pom-poms. It's really simple to tie these. I just take a pom-pom. I have a size 14 scud hook. I just thread it right on there. I put it in the vise. Bring that up here, and I kind of rotate it so you'll see how it's not quite in the center where I threaded it. So I put the bulk of the egg on top, leaving a larger gap here. I have 50 denier Vivus kind of GSP gel spun style thread, and I'll start that right in front of the egg, wrap back just a little bit, cut off the excess, and then figure 8 underneath that egg. And I do it about 5 times. See how that captures some of that egg material there. You can add a drop of head cement on the underside, or you can use some super glue if you want to make it just a little extra durable. I typically don't, but for this video demonstration I will. Kind of keeps the egg in one spot. Now, one thing I do is on the stream I carry a red Sharpie.
I don't put red dots on all my eggs because sometimes the fish aren't keen on red dots on eggs. But in the event that they are, I can easily take my marker out and I just put a red dot here and I put a red dot on the other side. And that stays permanent enough for a day's worth of fishing. You might have to touch it up from time to time as it fades, but that's how you put red dots on these eggs.
Well, I hope you liked this video on dyeing pom-pom eggs and how to tie them to a hook for fly fishing. I thought I'd offer a few more tips to help you through your journey of doing this yourself. As you can see, I've got yellow, pink, red, orange, and green, which I use to make a lime color. They're really good for dyeing pastel shades. If you want a really dark color, you'll have to let the material sit in the dye bath for an hour, maybe 2 hours, or consider adding much more of the color to make it bold, such as if you were wanting to do red sandworm worms. I've also found that there's little color difference in the set times of 5 to 10 minutes in the dye bath. But for the most part, the color sets in the first 5 minutes and it changes very little until you start reaching that 30-minute, 45-minute, or 60-minute time frame. So I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching.